At Kroger, an annual Boost membership just got even better. Now you can choose from Disney Plus with ads, Hulu with ads, or ESPN Plus on us when you sign up. Plus, enjoy unlimited free delivery, double fuel points, exclusive offers, and free items. Sign up for a Boost membership today. It's an easier way to save, including new streaming options to relax with while we deliver your groceries. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Restrictions apply. See site for details.
Do you want more success, more growth, more results? Then it's time for the Boundless Success Accelerator from the Modern Observer Group. This isn't your average coaching program. It's where top performers come to dominate. Weekly group sessions, on-demand coaching, a community that's got your back, and a power-packed library of tools to supercharge your business and career. No more excuses, no more waiting. Get in, level up, and start building the life you've been dreaming about. Visit us at modernobserver.com/boundlesssuccess to join today. Let's get you to the next level. Hello, and welcome to the Success Showcase, the podcast that helps you succeed better in your business, career, and life. I'm your host, Eric Lopkin, with the Modern Observer Group, and with me, as always, is Chip Januiszewski from the Happiness and Success GPS. Chip, how are you doing this week?
Happy holidays. I'm doing great, Eric. How are you?
I am doing fantastic, and yes, this is our annual holiday episode, and we are looking forward to a fantastic holiday season. And one of the things we want to talk about is, what's commonly known as the Christmas spirit. We talk a lot about positive thinking over the course of the year. And I had a very disappointing conversation with someone recently who was very upset over the holidays. She was getting depressed, and she asked me straight out. She said, why am I alone? Why do these things happen to me? And we started talking, and it eventually came around to the fact that her conversations are negative. When she posts on social media, she's focusing on negative. She has this major focus on negativity. And I said that comes across, and let's face it, people don't want to be around negativity. Well, of course, she reacted negatively and got very upset. Well, you don't know what I've been through. And it's like, well, that's sort of the point. Nobody knows what anybody has been through. We've all been through things. You can make the decision to let them control your life, or you can say, this is something that happened to me. What did I learn from it? And find something positive. Find things that you like to focus on. And that's really what the Christmas spirit is all about. One of our fellow podcasters actually told me a friend of his came up with a great description of the holidays. He said, it's the time of year you get to relive your childhood traumas with the original cast. And, we all have those childhood traumas. But this is the time that there's so much positive to focus on. If you can't find something now, you've really got to be trying hard.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously, the holidays are a time for giving. I mean, that's what the theme is. And the bottom line, with the person you're talking about and anybody else who's in the negative dumps right now, is people, by the law of attraction, want to hang around people who are positive. And if you make up your mind to shift yourself to be positive with people and start giving them, just call somebody up out of the blue and give them a compliment for something, or say, I miss you, or something like that. This is a great time of year to start your gratitude journal. If you're going to have a family get together with people, write down the people you are going to get together with, and underneath their name in each column, write some positive things about them. That will get you into the spirit. I mean, the bottom line is, if
Yes.
you look in the mirror, even if you're lonely and so on and so forth, if you look in the mirror and you start thinking about all the wonderful things that you've had going on in your lifetime and the people who you may or may not see over the holidays, this is a great time of year to start doing that. I mean, I'm pretty sure we'll talk about New Year's things to do and so on and so forth within the next few weeks, but it's never too late to start. And the holiday season is a great way to start and keep this going on an ongoing basis. I mean, you can make every single day Christmas or whatever holiday that you're celebrating out there just by thinking positively and doing that. And the bottom line is, if you are wondering why people don't reach out to you and you look in the mirror and you realize that you are negative and so on and so forth, and if you were somebody else, would you want to be with yourself right now? You're going to answer that question honestly,
Right.
no. And if you can change that around and all of a sudden shift, first of all, if you've had that experience and reputation for a while and all of a sudden you change, it's almost like Scrooge. And you go out there and all of a sudden people are going to be attracted to you and great things are going to happen. By the way, that's a great movie to watch this time of year too, because if you want to look at somebody who started out negative and turned it around 100%, great holiday traditions are going and watching these old time movies. Go watch Charlie Brown Christmas or whatever else is on. It's a great time of year to do that, and reach out to people, even if you can't be with them physically. Just reach out to people and tell them you care. But most importantly, continue it on through next year. Make every day a holiday.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, there's no reason not to start now. And again, when people look at things negatively, like the big one that I've heard lately is, I really want to join a gym. Okay, so join a gym. Well, I don't have the time and I don't have the money. Well, I actually said to a few people, it's like, take a look at this video. And the video is one particular exercise that is, I have been doing this for years. And it is part of what's called the temple exercises that are preparation for Tai Chi and for Qigong. There's no equipment needed. There's barely any space needed. You can do it anywhere in your house. There's no money involved. And the whole thing takes 5 minutes. So you can't find 5 minutes? There's no money, no equipment. There's always a way to do things. And when you have that holiday spirit, when you have the positive attitude, you can find those ways. And those ways are everywhere. They're not hard to find.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we talk a lot about, priming your brain towards something and looking towards positive ways instead of reasons not to do stuff. And we talk all the time about changing the word yes, but into yes, and for a week.
Yep.
And if you do that and you start making a habit out of that, basically what and is collaborative and it's creative. Buts are reason not to do things. And just as you said, for exercising, I mean, I made a point 10 years ago, well, actually 2013, to join a gym. Eventually I left the gym, but I developed a habit of staying healthy. And it's as simple as walking every day. I mean, you can just
Yes.
get up every day, do a walk. You can look online. There's all different types of things you can do as far as that goes. But again, yes, and if you are just proactive and get things going, yeah, it might take a little while to get into it, but you're going to feel fantastic physically after you're done. And it's also going to really, really work your brain to start developing that positive mindset and positive outlook. Because again, that's your choice. If you go to the mirror in the morning and say, I'm miserable, yeah, you're going to be miserable. If you go in the mirror every morning and smile at yourself and give yourself a high five, even out of silliness, and say, hey, I like or I love myself because I am unconditionally loved by our creator, that's going to happen too. And the more you joke about it or whatever, you're going to realize that. But that's where we all came from. Obviously, you folks out there who listen to this know that that's what I teach is the kindness platform, which is where we came from. And if we let that rule over all the other negative things that are out there first, it's a lot easier to live with all the negative stuff that's going on in the world if you just start with positivity, which is your choice.
Now, of course, we're making this sound a lot easier than it really is. It does require an effort and it does require persistence. You have to keep going. The sooner you start, the easier it'll become. But let's take a look at holiday traditions. You know, we all have certain traditions that we look back on from childhood and they make us smile and we do them every year because they make us feel good. Well, we've talked about this in the past as well. What makes those traditions is a process. It's essentially following step by step what you did to create that same feeling that you had as a kid or the first time you did this. So, we talk about processes all the time, how they simplify things, how they make things easier, but they also help take stress away. And stress is one of the biggest causes of negativity. So figure out what your processes are. Look at your holiday traditions. Do you make the same food every year? Do you use the same recipes? Do you see the same people? How does that make you feel? Grab onto that. Grab onto the people that make you feel good. And quite frankly, if there are people that are bringing you down, maybe you need to spend less time with them and more time with more inspiring people. They say you are the total or the average of the 10 people you spend the most time with. If you're spending time with people who are bringing you down, it makes it that much harder for you to fight the negativity and to get into the holiday spirit and not be bah humbug, not be Scrooge. So take a look at who you're hanging around with. Are they supportive people? Are they upbeat? You don't have to be positive 24/7. There's actually something called toxic positivity that you're always forcing yourself to be positive and not acknowledging that you have difficulties or problems. There are always difficulties and problems. Being positive isn't about ignoring that. It's about looking for the opportunity in that and looking for ways to change your situation.
Yeah, it's not just going through the motions. Obviously, positivity um, has to come from just pure unconditional gratitude for things that are going on. And yes, you have to realize, which we say all the time, that life is simply a series of present moment events. What we're talking about here is just awareness that you can choose positivity, knowing that you're always going to have your ups and downs. That's going to happen. But, as you mentioned, if you are hanging around with toxic people, maybe one of the things you might want to do this year is come up with a different theme. You can actually start something from a positive thing and say, let's get together and this is a topic or something like that. And you can kind of joke around saying, okay, every time we all get together, we're walking away negative and so on and so forth, because that's all we're doing is it's a bitch fest out there. And if you can just change it around, just change the theme and start your own thing. Maybe that's really, really outside the box, but you know what? You're going to sit there thinking about it at least and acknowledge the fact that when you guys get together, you're negative. And if there's one time a year when you can maybe turn around the agenda, why not try it now?
Yes, and that is the first part is realizing that you're feeling this way, realizing that you're not feeling your best and accepting that for yourself. Acknowledge what you're feeling. Don't try pushing it down, don't try pushing it away, but give yourself understanding. Give yourself the opportunity to be better. You can do this anytime. It's not just a holiday, though the holidays are obviously a great time to do this. You know, why should you feel bad about yourself? You are who you are. And you should be able to accept that and certainly make yourself feel that, yes, this is who I am. I accept who I am, and I feel good about myself. You know, Saturday Night Live made fun of this for years with the character of Stuart Smalley, where he would look at himself in the mirror and say, I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and doggone it, people like me. Well, there's nothing wrong with reminding you of that. And if you're not feeling up to it, why not, you know, say, well, wait a minute. You know, okay, maybe everything's not going my way, but I'm a good person. I did such and such that I really enjoyed. Focus on things that you like. And when you're focusing on those things, it'll make you smile. And it's much harder to feel bad when you're smiling.
Yeah, absolutely. It's impossible to feel bad when you're smiling. So, one of the things that you can do also, I mean, if you're feeling down or whatever, if you're alone a lot, is just take out a sheet of paper and write down what we've talked about before, what's called a victory log. And a victory log is just going back to your childhood and writing down every great thing that you've ever done in your life, that you've accomplished, and so on and so forth. And you're going to start writing pages and pages and pages of different things that you've done. And you may have been down for a long time. However, it's right there that you have done good in your life and that other people do care about you just because of what's right in front of you. And obviously, continuing this on, if you just keep a daily gratitude journal and write down something that you're grateful for every single day. Read it every night before you go to bed because you're going to sleep on it that way. These are tools that you can use instead of just keeping them in your brain. If you have them down in writing, it will help you out a lot. Visuals mean so much. I mean, it is a great time of year to pull out old family pictures and things like that too, and just appreciate that also. It's whatever you can do. Obviously, with 60,000 thoughts a day, you're going to have a whole bunch of negative ones. But if you can really, really fuel yourself towards positive ones and use the tools that are readily available to you, like pictures and writing down accomplishments and things like that, and exposing yourself to positive things as far as what you're watching on TV or anything else, that is part of the deal. And maybe set up some appointments to see people that you haven't seen, or just reach out to people that you haven't seen for a long time. But it's on the person in the mirror. And if you get proactive in doing it, things are going to happen. So start it.
Exactly. Get started. And, you know, again, we're talking about the holiday spirit. And, you know, so many of us get, as we get older, we're jaded. And I started this as a tradition several years ago with the Modern Observer Group website. And we started doing this on this podcast last year. But there is a Santa Claus. And what I'm referring to is that in 1897, an 8-year-old named Virginia O'Hanlon wrote a letter to the editor of the New York Sun asking the question, is there a Santa Claus? And this has now become a famous editorial response. We publish it every year on the Modern Observer Group's website. And last year we started reading it on this podcast. And I'm going to go ahead. And the letter was very simple. Dear editor, I am 8 years old. Some of my little friends say there is no Santa Claus. Papa says if you see it in the sun, it's so. Please tell me the truth. Is there a Santa Claus? Virginia O'Hanlon. And a reporter wrote the following response. Virginia, your little friends are wrong. They have been affected by the skepticism of a skeptical age. They do not believe except they see. They think that nothing can be which is not comprehensible by their little minds. All minds, Virginia, whether they be men's or children's, are little. In this great universe of ours, man is a mere insect, an ant in his intellect, as compared with the boundless world about him. as measured by the intelligence capable of gathering the whole of truth and knowledge. Yes, Virginia, there is a Santa Claus. He exists as certainly as love and generosity and devotion exist. And you know that they abound and give to your life its highest beauty and joy. Alas, how dreary would be the world if there were no Santa Claus. It would be as dreary as if there were no Virginias. There would be no childlike faith then, no poetry, no romance to make tolerable this existence. We should have no enjoyment except in sense and sight. The eternal light with which childhood fills the world would be extinguished. Not believe in Santa Claus? You might as well not believe in fairies. You might get your papa to hire men to watch in all the chimneys on Christmas Eve to catch Santa Claus. But even if they did not see Santa Claus coming down, what would that prove? Nobody sees Santa Claus, but that is not a sign that there is no Santa Claus. The most real things in the world are those that neither children nor men can see. Did you ever see fairies dancing on the lawn? Of course not. But that's no proof that they aren't there. Nobody can conceive of or imagine all of the wonders there are unseen and unseeable in the world. You may tear apart the baby's rattle and see what makes the noise inside. But there is a veil covering the unseen world, which not the strongest man, nor even the unified strength of all the strongest men that ever lived could tear apart. Only faith, fancy, poetry, love, romance can push aside that curtain and view and picture the supernal beauty and glory beyond. Is it all real? Ah, Virginia, in all the world, there is nothing else real and abiding. No Santa Claus. Thank God he lives, and he lives forever. 1,000 years from now, Virginia, nay, 10 times 10,000 years from now, he will continue to make glad the heart of childhood. And that response is now one of the most famous editorials ever written. And if you really pay attention, it's not talking about Santa Claus. It's talking about love and magic and the positivity that we've been referring to. Why would you want to live in a world without Santa Claus?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we talk about where we all came from. Creativity, the whole universe came from loving kindness. And what does that loving being that we came from want for all of us? Plain and simple, one word, just joy. Joy is a state of mind. Everybody seeks it. And if you work towards it, just as that beautiful documentary that you read is all about, you can see it in everything that's out there if you look for it. Joy is everywhere. And if you want to make it part of you, just seek it. It's nothing concrete, it's just is.
Exactly. Santa Claus isn't a person, it's a concept. And it's that concept of the holiday that keeps people going and makes people feel good. But you know what? It doesn't only have to be for the holidays. If you have a tradition that makes you feel good, do it every 2 or 3 months. Don't wait a whole year. If there's something that makes you happy, share it with others. If there are people that make you happy, tell them about it. Reach out. Let them know you're thinking about them. Share the joy. And the more you share, the more it comes back to you. And it's beyond the power of attraction. People love being around people that make them feel good. And in turn, they make each other feel good. That's what we need we live in a world where there's all sorts of cynicism and skepticism, and we all become, part of that at some point. I recently read an old quote by Shirley Temple, who said, I stopped believing Santa Claus when I was 6 years old because my mother took me to see him and he asked me for my autograph. It's a matter of perspective and perception. So, yes, there's all sorts of things going on that we wish didn't. We've all had traumas that we have to go through, but it's about perspective. And when you look at everything you've gone through, that's what makes you the person you are. And it's not something to be wallowed in. It's something that you experienced that you should learn from. There are basically two types of people. There's type 1 that goes through anything that comes and learns from it and sees what they can take from it to move on and be better people. And then there are people that I refer to as professional victims. They're the ones that, well, oh, woe is me. Everything happens to me. Why did it happen to me? You know what? It happens to everyone. And it's so much easier to deal with when you realize you're not the only one that went through things like this. You didn't actually go through it alone. There are others that understand. And no matter what the problem is, somebody else has gone through it. So reach out and look for that camaraderie, the friendship, and revel in it.
Yeah, absolutely. What you need to do is just open up your mind to everything that is out there. And this includes everybody and everything, instead of just that person in the mirror that right now is having a negative time. It's so, so important to do that and just really see the beauty in everything that's out there. So it starts that way, but with awareness, that's what it's about. You're aware of the way that you're thinking right now, and you're aware of the fact whether you're positive all the time or negative all the time. And you're also aware of the fact that that's something that you can change, and only you can do that. The answer is in the mirror. And this is a perfect time of year to appreciate that person in the mirror, work on turning yourself around, and everybody else around you is going to be turning around because you're doing that too, especially with you. Because the bottom line is positivity, joy, happiness, that's contagious. It's more contagious than negativity, and it spreads a whole lot faster.
Exactly. And I guarantee you, when you look in the mirror, there is something absolutely amazing about the person looking back. You just have to be willing to accept that and look for it, because there is something extraordinary about every person. So, Chip, we've got the holidays coming up, and this will be our last podcast of this year. So, what have you got planned for your holiday celebrations?
Oh, holiday celebrations. Well, as you know, my granddaughter just turned 5 a week ago. This Sunday, my wife's family is in Rhode Island. We are going there for a nice little get together on Sunday. On Christmas Eve, I'll be singing at church. On Christmas Day, our son will be with us here. But then the weekend after that, my sister here in West Hartford has her own party going on. So we got all that going on. But I'm thinking about going back. I mean, part of the problem, I think a lot of people might have caught a little bit of negativity disease during COVID that is still there. And me coming
Yes.
from a big family with 6 brothers and sisters and everybody, and my mom who loved party time better than anything, what we decided in 2022, a couple of years ago, 2021, was that we were going to, on the 4th of July, have a merry, happy everything party. And what we did is, in our house, we normally have Thanksgiving, but we had everybody come over on the 4th of July. That was the year it was only 50 degrees on the 4th of July. But in the house, we had a Christmas tree. We had a Thanksgiving turkey. We had pumpkins, we had everything else, and everybody was together. And my mom had just turned 90 in 2021, and she was in seventh heaven. Um, Unfortunately, she was gone by next May and at 91, but that was like one of the most fun times ever. Pictures with the grandchildren, the great grandchildren, or whatever. So the bottom line is, we actually did that in the middle of July. We celebrated Christmas, Thanksgiving, Halloween, all these things we couldn't do in person. So the holidays can be any time. Just
Yeah.
go out and enjoy it. And joy is what we are all about. So I wish you all out there a joyous whatever you're celebrating this year for you and your families, and may you carry it through in 2025 and live it.
Yes, the holidays can be any time you want. I actually have a friend that loves the Christmas tree so much she puts up trees all year round. She has a Valentine's tree in February. She has a spring and Easter tree in April and May. She has a 4th of July tree in the summer. She has a Halloween tree, a Thanksgiving tree, and then, of course, the Christmas tree. Find those things that make you feel good and keep doing them. They're not tied to a calendar. And with that, I wish all of our listeners a very Merry Christmas, a Happy Hanukkah, a Happy Kwanzaa, a Happy New Year, and whatever other holidays you may be celebrating. Enjoy them, enjoy yourself. We will be back in 2025. And of course, you're listening to the Success Showcase. You can catch every episode at xvadio.com, the Apple Podcasts app, YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, Amazon Music, and wherever you find podcasts. So remember, plan to make 2025 your best year ever, and then make 2026 even better. We'll see you in the new year.